No, no, Mike is not muted. You're okay. You're in, hon.
And I need my stream.
You, you need what?
I need my chat.
Yes, your chat is coming up, my sweet thing.
Hey, Max. Mwah. Hello, doll. Get Spooky Society. Hello, Stephanie. You gotta push it down.
I'll cut the mic for a minute.
How are you
Okay.
ladies doing?
What am I supposed to push down, hon? Oh, this one. That's
Yeah.
what you mean. There
Mm-hmm.
you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's a me. Uh, okay. Well, say hello to your people.
I did say hello.
You said hello to your people.
Why do you keep taking my chat off? What's wrong with you? I need my chat.
You're getting your chat back.
Oh my
Stop that.
goodness.
Never that busy, is it?
I'm dealing with my husband, fighting with him as usual.
It doesn't really look that busy.
It's going to happen. It takes a little bit. So
Uh huh.
everybody, notifications are so slow.
Oh, well, guys, you know the drill, right? If you all give me 200 likes, I'll drink another one.
Oh my God, no, we're not gonna go there. Uh. Takes forever.
What takes forever?
The notifications, they just take forever.
Ah, hey, Max. Nice to have you here.
You got time. Don't worry about it.
Well, I guess you people are filling up. Where was it that I could see the count?
What?
Where was it that I could see the count? I can't remember. It was here
Well,
somewhere.
you have the screen quite small.
I have the screen quite small.
Yes.
What are you talking about? You mean this?
Yeah,
You want a full screen? That doesn't make a big difference.
it does. That's I'm saying hello, honey.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's more people. Look, there you go. Oh
Hey,
no.
that's the way you do it. She walked him right before,
Yeah, that's
and of
that's.
course it's summer there, so it's as hot as all get out.
Is it a sheepdog, Max?
It's not a sheepdog. You don't go picking on Max.
I'm not picking. Uh oh.
It's up there.
What is up there?
Australian cattle dog.
Yeah, that's what I said.
She got Aussie dog.
See.
Hey Frank, how you doing, bud?
Hey, Frank.
You gonna wreak havoc on the chat tonight, Frank? Or are you gonna behave yourself? I think that's too much to ask.
I don't know either. Our guest just walked away and they left his wife.
Why? It
What do
just
you mean?
seems like the top is all.
You're not
Max,
getting that.
Max says it.
Stop.
Max says that it. They do herd sheepdogs.
Yes, I know. They may be called a cattle dog, but they do sheep.
Oh, we'll see how long that angel lasts.
Yeah. That is I'll show you up a little bit, Frank. Otherwise, nobody would believe it.
Her the new doggy just hurts her. Right. There you go, Max. Frank don't know how to behave himself. Oh, my favorite, my buddy.
Awkward
Awkward beginning
beginning.
as usual. Yes, always,
Yeah,
always.
that's basically how we start. We like to put that stuff up like this. It works much better.
It's so ridiculous how notifications are so slow, so slow.
Now, what time you want to start? 3 minutes?
They'll come in. Just gotta give it some time. It's always
Oh,
that fun.
people are gonna fall asleep. So you got to tell them a story now.
We've been giving
Otherwise,
Frank a little bit of a hard time. So should I tell him since my my sweet Max and she's got her new doggo
what should you tell?
about our doggo?
No, there's nothing to tell about our dog.
No, what she did. When was it? Yesterday?
What she did yesterday?
You already forgot.
Did she do something yesterday?
Hey, Cassie.
Oh, you mean the visitor that we had again?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So it was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes, it was yesterday.
So yesterday, yeah. Our dog was on Saga. She was on the floor on Ed's side of the bed, sitting there, and she's looking up towards a wall on the other side of the room on my side. And she's not budging. Ed's like Saga, and she's just sitting there staring. I mean, she's like a little statue just sitting there staring. And I finally had to, I said hi to Cassie.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yes, I'm. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't budge, and she just kept looking up, and there's nothing there. And finally, I was like, okay, I lost my temper, and I was like, oh hell no, you ain't gonna mess with my dog. I was like, if you mess with my dog, you're out of here. And all of a sudden, she snapped right out of it, jumped right on our bed like nothing happened. I was like, oh dear God.
Yeah.
Fun visitors, fun.
It was something, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying to play sneaky on me. Trying.
I won't let them wait much longer. Minute.
Hmm?
Minute.
You're so impatient.
I am very impatient. I hate people getting people forward and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? If you missed the beginning, shame on you.
They can rewatch it.
Well, sure.
Be patient. You're bouncing and you're. Stop bouncing.
Oh, was I moving your camera? I'm sorry.
You look sorry.
Hey, this is our first interview. I mean, we don't interview that much.
No.
Yes, honey.
Oh, you're so sweet. That's just wrong, Frank. That's just wrong. McDonald's didn't have 25 cents cheeseburgers. That's just that. No, unacceptable. Yes, they are. I've got them in the background because I didn't want to bring them up during this awkward moment while notifications are getting out and that mess. So I didn't want to do the whole awkward silence and my husband's getting impatient. So
Yeah.
we'll give it a couple more minutes and we'll go.
No. I want to go.
Like a child.
Ah, it is so funny. See, the chat is not moving. The chat is not moving because you're not moving. We need to go move on.
Okay,
Okay.
you want me to introduce them?
Yes, please introduce our guests for
Okay.
tonight. Please do.
My goodness.
Right? Right? Go ahead.
Hey Pete. Happy to see you here. Woohoo. Okay, so our special guest is the Paranormal Side. And I have been watching these guys, it's a husband wife team, for a while now. And they're really great. They go to great locations. And so let me ask you guys, this is Joe and Carrie. Let me ask you guys, what got you into the paranormal?
What got us into the paranormal? I mean, I've always been interested myself in the paranormal. I mean, it really goes all the way back to when I was a kid. I used to really like to hear, ghost stories and, stuff like that. And then I was really, really big into the Ghostbusters, but, and I still love them today. But anyway, that's kind of what got me started, really. But,
I got started when I was probably 6 years old. I've always been able to hear spirits. So I started hearing them when I was 6. Being home by myself, I'd hear people walking in the house or talking to me. I still hear them today. And I'm always telling him, like, oh, I hear somebody in the basement saying such and such, or I hear people talking or walking down our hallway. So it's like I'm always hearing them. But that's pretty much what got me into it, because I've always been fascinated by hearing it and I'm not able to see them, but I'm able to hear them.
Right.
That's what got
That's
me
interesting
interested.
because that's when I was three-ish, I saw my first apparition. I mean, like he was standing right there, and I've always heard them. I saw them every once in a while. They're always a little tricky, You see something shooting out of the corner of your eye, and you're like, okay, second guessing yourself. But yeah, I get exactly where you're coming from, Carrie. And it's nice because, like with my husband, what is it you always say?
I didn't get into it until I married this girl here because I had a very quiet house, nothing happening in it until she came living in my house. So, yeah.
wow.
Oh, wow.
So she brought her baggage with her.
Thanks. So, so how long have you guys been doing this?
We've been doing it probably about, I would say, at least 4 years, maybe a little longer. I mean, we were doing it a while before we really started, recording and sharing. And then we kind of started recording, but we never did share. So,
Right.
I mean, I wanted to, but I was kind of scared to post anything really. And at the time, we really, in my opinion, we didn't have anything decent to share. But
Right.
somebody told me one time that it shouldn't matter, just post it and people may be interested in watching it. So we started doing it, and that's what kind of got us really going. But yeah, and what really spiked my interest is we went to a old home one time for like a historical tour,
Mm.
and it was in New Bern, North Carolina, and they were just showing us around, and there was nobody standing next to me, and I thought I seen something out of the corner of my eye, like up the stairway, and I kind of shook it off, like, well, maybe I just seen something, nothing. And then all of a sudden, suddenly, something pulled my shirt, and I looked, and
Okay.
there was nobody next to me. And ever since then, that's what really got me really interested into it, because it kind of made me realize maybe there is something more to this world than what we can see.
That's awesome. I like that. That's really awesome. Uh, I want to say hello real quick to American Phantom Hunters. Thank you for coming. Uh, and of course, my lovely friends, Full Dark Paranormal Explorers, Amy and Ryan. Love you. So let's gotta keep my list. Um how do you find your locations?
Well, we basically do whatever research that we can, and it's mostly me. And I watch so many paranormal shows, and I mean, it's like I do it every night. And if I hear something that I really get interested in, I'll go and I'll check it out on Google Maps, and that's basically how we kind of figure it out. There's not much around the eastern part of North Carolina where we stay at, but there is a few local legends, and we try to check them out the best we can. But there's not a lot happening, so we really have to go, like to Virginia or South Carolina, Georgia, wherever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's sometimes challenging, especially where we stay at, but because a lot of people around here just don't really like to talk about
Right.
paranormal, if there is anything around here, So
And it's like if you do talk about it, they look at you crazy, like, what'd you say?
Yeah, that's the one thing that I always tell people living in the Bible Belt, it's kind of difficult because they do like telling ghost stories, but they don't want to hear somebody go, "Hey, this happened to me," and then they're like,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
So I can relate on that. Even my husband was like, he thought I was crazy. He's like,
So how many videos have you guys brought out?
"That's what pro is. You can pop that up."
I'm not exactly sure right at this moment. I know at least, I want to say 80, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think it was 80 that we put out. We still got a backlog of stuff that hasn't came out yet because we're still going through everything and trying to figure out what we want to put out next to make sure they like people getting tired of it or bored of it. So we're trying to figure all that out.
I've noticed your editing has gotten so much better as you've gone along. I mean, your editing has really gotten good.
I appreciate that.
And I do know how I mean, editing takes so long because you have to listen through everything, and then
Yeah, it's a job.
so I totally get it.
Yeah, I've tried to really work on the editing, and I've even watched a few YouTube videos to kind of learn what I can to try to make things better.
Yeah.
And I pretty much the background because I have like the spooky type background.
Mm-hmm.
So
Editing is it can make a world of difference. It can break you or it can make you. And I really like I, 83. Stephanie says you have 83 videos.
Oh, wow.
okay.
My
I know
gosh,
some
I
of
didn't
them-
really that many. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Wow.
83.
So, since you've got 83 videos and y'all have gone to a lot of locations, obviously, have you ever brought anything home with you?
Yes. We went to a cemetery that was known to be haunted. He kept saying he heard something behind him. And every time I shined the light, I didn't see nothing. But when we got home, he started hearing growling and stuff on his side of the bed. And the next morning, I was sitting in the living room, just woke up, and I heard something growling. And I got up, looked, didn't see nothing. I was like, all right now. But we had to end up blessing the house because we had brought something bad home with us. So we kind of had to bless it, and we said we won't go back there because
Well, what happened? What happened was that night afterwards, doing that investigation at that cemetery, which I didn't think we had got anything. I don't even really know if we got anything on video, but it just felt like something was a little different afterwards. So I was laying down, and I wasn't even really fully asleep yet, and it wasn't growling that I heard hissing. And it really, I mean, it jumped me out of bed. And I was like, look, I don't have no time for this. I'm not doing this. And then the next morning, she told me about what she heard. And so, I had to get some holy oil. And I just went around to each room, opened one window, and said the Lord's Prayer and said, you better go on and get on out of here.
Right.
Really haven't had a problem since then. So.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's interesting, especially when you say you didn't really get too much, and
Right.
then all of a sudden you're getting things at your house that you're not ready for yet.
We had a few weird things that happened too, which I've done a little bit of research too. We had a few like electronic devices start going out. Weird things like the laptop went out. What was it? The washing machine went out.
The
dishwasher, and it was all within that week. Which I mean, it could be all a coincidence too. But I have heard and read that those types of things happen if you get a certain type, of entity in your home. I guess they're trying to pull energy, maybe, but
that is crazy. I don't think I've had anything quite that bad.
Yeah,
I had the house I moved into, for some reason, only in my bedroom. The day we moved in, I walked in, brand new house. I walk into our bedroom and I get this, I can picture him in my mind, and he's just in my face, raging and raging. But I never felt him anywhere. So I was in the house alone, and at the time I had 140-pound Doberman who would protect me to no end, that would follow me anywhere. And he refused to come into my bedroom. And it was just so overwhelming that I was like, okay, something's got to be done. And what it was he didn't even want to fight in the war. He just wanted to be left alone, and he died slowly is what I got off of him. And I did research because I had no idea the area I lived in even had any kind of fighting.
Yeah.
And it turns out we had a small little pond, well, a little bit bigger than a pond. And that's where they took the wounded to help, clean them up. It's a water source. And that darn thing followed me to Holland.
Good night.
So my next question to you is, I woke up in the middle of the night, my foot was hanging off the bed, and he grabbed me. He grabbed my ankle. So my question to y'all is, have you been touched by anything
Hmm. I I know you did in New Bern. Your shirt got touched.
Yeah, my shirt got
Um,
pulled, but that's about the only time that I think we did. One time in Savannah, we Carrie, actually, it was really her. She had a couple like scratch marks on her neck that was kind of a little unexplainable. And
and my ear was like
yeah,
completely red, like color of the apple.
yeah,
And I knew it was burning, and I was like, "What in the world?" But I didn't feel nothing actually scratched.
Right.
But it was just weird that it all of a sudden got so red that it was just weird.
that was
Oh,
at
that's
that was in Savannah, Georgia, at the 1790s Inn.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one room in particular there that is said to be haunted by a spirit, I believe, by named Anna.
Yeah.
And but the room next to it, they said also is supposedly haunted too. But they said, from what I understand, is that the room that we ended up staying in, which wasn't Anna's room, is supposed to be the scary room, the one that you people get scared at. So that was the only room we could book because we couldn't do Anna's room because it stays booked up most of the year.
wow.
And we did get something on camera, but I can't explain it. It does look like a black orb that comes down the wall and goes kind of out the door. I mean, I can't say 100% that it was paranormal. I mean, it could have been a bug, but I don't remember seeing anything like that in the room. But it was kind of crazy, and I added it to the video for the 1790s Inn. So it's up
Oh,
for
wow.
It looks like it bounces off my head and kind of like goes out the door. But I didn't ever feel no bugs in there or see any.
the
So it was kind of weird.
Wow. That's the one thing I like about the way y'all investigate is you 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 try and take a practical look at things
Mhm.
before you go paranormal,
right,
Yes.
right,
and that's what I've always liked about it.
yeah,
Yeah, we always try to recreate whatever it is we see or try to think logical. Well, is it this or this before we say, oh, well, that's paranormal?
Right.
Because we're trying to always debunk something or trying to figure out if it was paranormal that we seen. So,
yeah. I don't like to make a claim saying something's paranormal. I mean, because you never 100% know, or I
Right.
don't. So I mean, I just kind of leave it up. Try to leave it up to whoever's watching our videos to make their own mind up.
mhm.
So
Right.
you know,
That's the one thing that's nice because a lot of people quickly jump and go, oh, it's paranormal. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
they don't sit and go, well, could it be this? Could it be that? And that's what I've always liked about you guys. And I like how calm you are on y'all's investigate. Y'all are so calm.
yeah,
Thank you. I'm
I
kind
mean,
of still like the shy one, so I kind of stay off camera a lot, but I'm slowly getting used to the camera. So
yeah.
I'm getting more in the shots than like staying out the way.
That's I've noticed that as well. And it I remember in one of your videos, he was gonna go to the basement. You're like, no, you're not gonna leave me. I don't want to be by myself.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it gets too much, and it's like, okay,
Yes.
that's
Because
what I
I think
really.
he wanted to leave me in the basement by myself. And I was like, oh no, I'm not staying in the basement by myself with the lights off. Because
Uh-uh.
I was like, and there was already bats in there. So it was like, I didn't want to be down there with the bats in the dark, couldn't see nothing. So,
Mm-mm.
no.
I don't blame you. The bats don't freak me out as much. It's spiders and those creepy crawlies. I'm like, no, 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 no. I mean, bats will dive bomb you, but they don't tend to bother you. And creepy crawlies, no, thank you. Um, so you've done a. I mean, I've watched some of your locations. I mean, you've done the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, and you've gone to Gettysburg, and you've done a couple places in Gettysburg. You've gone to Savannah because I saw that one. So you've gotten really good locations. So, what is your favorite location?
What's your favorite?
Mine is Gettysburg.
That's mine too. We seem to have a lot more in Gettysburg than we did pretty much anywhere else.
It's it's like my friends Amy and Ryan with Full Dark Paranormal. I watched them. I've seen them get similar stuff to what like you guys get, and it's I want to go so bad. I watch all you guys, and it's like I want to go so bad because I know. For me, it's very easy to pick up like residual energies on top of, where all that stuff is. So, what is your scariest and spookiest location?
Mine is the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Oh yeah, I'd have to say that one too, because that one was like kind of spooky and dark, and you would hear stuff behind you and you would look and there'd be nothing there. Door slamming, that there was no doors on the room, so they couldn't slam.
Yeah.
You would just hear different things all over the place.
With this one room, I can't remember if it was the second floor or not. I think it was Ward C with the violent men. It was an area in the Trans-Allegheny that this guy, he used to be a boxer and went it for his profession. And anyway, somehow I ended up in Trans-Allegheny. And what happened was he ended up killing his roommate. I think they said he strangled his roommate. Anyway, right next to that room where they said was his, I was standing there filming. He walked into the boxer man's room, and I heard something, and it really scared me because it sounded like kind of like a kill, and it was kind of loud, and it was in the moment, and I said, I said a curse word because it kind of really, really shocked me. And I was like, what was that? So I had to go check it out, and I could not see anything that could make a noise like that in that room. And then it wasn't long, a few seconds after that, we started hearing footsteps all around us.
Yeah, we sat in the middle of the floor and was being quiet, and all of a sudden you kept hearing footsteps walking towards you, and then it seemed like they were walking all around you in that one little circle, and it was. We were like, "What? We got it."
That is crazy. But that's. I mean, like I said, that's what everybody that does investigations in Paramount. That's what they want.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I think it caught us off guard the first time, and then we kind of went back and reinvestigated it because the first time it was like, what? Wait a minute, let's go back and try and figure this out.
Well, why don't we look at some of their clips they sent in to show people what they've got?
Okay.
What do you think about that?
All right.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is going to be clumsy.
It's going to be clumsy.
Because it's not going to go like that, and then this, and then make this bigger, right? And then can't yet. Okay, hold on.
So just before you start it, you want him to set up the first clip to talk about?
No, it's okay.
While he's doing that, he can talk about the clip, the first clip.
We can do my share. Hold on. It's funny.
Well, let me have them explain the first clip.
Okay.
Why don't you explain the first clip you sent in?
The first one should be the ferry plantation in I want to say Virginia Beach,
Yeah, Virginia Beach, Virginia.
and the guy that was showing us around, his name is Cody Green, and that's where we actually really got one of the first real EVPs that was so clear. And you hear a lady say, "Shh, be quiet," and it's not one of us, and there's just three of us in the whole house, and kind of blew us away.
Oh,
Is it showing?
The basin
Yeah.
and the jug were actually found underneath the house, which is crazy. And we have the, the leather strap. You know what that is, right? You had your leather strap here and show your just straight razor. Yeah. Yep. It's pretty wild.
yeah, you can even hear that without headphones.
So this was handmade right there. Yeah. Which I mean everything was back then.
There you go. One bit.
There we go.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me put you guys back.
Put his guys back. We're
Oh,
back. Thank you. Now, because we talked about trans-Allegheny, I always get that. That's such a mouthful for me.
Mhm.
Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. I mean, the history alone, how they treated people, that was just horrendous. So I can absolutely see why y'all got something. I mean, that's very interesting. You also went to the Octagon Mansion.
Mhm.
And what I liked a lot was when you were trying to speak to Audrey,
Mhm.
the little girl.
Yep.
I liked how you did it. You softened your voice and talked to her, and that's the one thing I've always said. If you're going to try and you reach out to spirit children, then you got to treat them like any other child and go at them gently and not and that's the one thing I really liked watching out of you guys.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
I've heard histories on that house, and
yeah. I like to try to speak to the spirits because at one time they were people, and I mean they're spirits, and so they still have, I'm assuming, a personality like they used to have when they were alive. So I try to connect the best that I can, but
yeah, that I really was entrenched in that video, or the several. It was how many video? I mean, because I know you had two, and then you had a
yeah.
bonus.
Yeah, the first one that we put out was the walkthrough, and that was just telling about the history. And the first one and two was basically the investigation, and the third was pretty much a bonus kind of in a way. And we did find a couple things that I didn't notice during the edit process, and actually some of the things I cut out. So when I found something, if I did find something, I tried to make like a small YouTube short to kind of put up there and show that, hey, we found something else and check this out.
Right. I like that. That's interesting as well, because I mean, sometimes you get nothing at all, and then sometimes you get the littlest thing, and the littlest things matter just as much as the big things, and
Yep.
that I really dig that. I thought it was great. And then I saw Amy at Full Dark Paranormal Explorers. So they have booked Trans-Allegheny for this year.
Yeah.
She's freaked out.
Yeah.
That's a doozy.
Yeah, that place is awesome.
Uh-huh. let's
Just
see.
make sure you take a flashlight because it's dark in there.
Yeah, that was interesting. Um, and of course, my IT guy just walks away.
No, I'm just here.
So do we want to set up another clip?
You want to do another
So
clip?
you want to talk about the next clip?
Yeah, we done a Estes method, sound deprivation or whatever you call it, where she put on the headphones, she couldn't hear me talk, and she would use the spirit box.
And I had a blindfold on.
Yeah, blindfold. And what happened was, normally we don't get really great responses, but we were at the Tilly Pierce house in Gettysburg, and the responses that we got just blew me away. And I wanted to kind of make a confirmation that I was actually talking to maybe somebody. So I went kind of off in the other room, and I kind of said it kind of low. I said, "Can you say my name? Can you say Joseph?" And a few seconds later, Carrie says, "Joseph." I'm like, okay. No, actually, it was Carrie first. And then I said, "Can you say my name?" And when she said Joseph, it gave me goosebumps. The hair on my arms was standing up. And, oh, God, that really got me there.
And then my eyes, I took my blindfold off. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" Because my eyes were like a different color or something.
They look real dark.
And I was like, "What do you mean, what's wrong with me?"
That's a good way to freak you out a little bit there.
I was freaked out the rest of the night. I was like, "What?"
Because I mean, when you're doing it, because I've done it,
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing it and you're blind, I wasn't blindfolded. I just kept my eyes closed
Mm-hmm.
and my head down. I had my headphones on. You almost get in like this trance, and you're just listening and listening and listening, and so then when you're pulled out and you're like, "What's wrong with you?" Oh my dear.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Joe's always calm. They're both very calm. And when she said his name, he freaked out, and you actually see the hair standing
I
up.
know. It was so surprising because I didn't really think that she was gonna come over and even say her name. But when she said my name, I'm like, I know for a fact that she can't hear me. Now something's going on. So it really surprised me, and I mean that was really the first time that really let me know that the Estes method can work.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I find when I watch people doing it is people that get good reactions through the method, you have to have a bond with the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And I find when and I've watched a bunch of stuff, and I've watched people do it, and if they don't have a bond, it's hard. But when you have a bond with that person, I don't know what it is, but things come through, and
Oh yeah.
and it comes. I also find it comes through a lot stronger as well.
Yeah.
So you want to play it for him, honey?
Yeah, yes, honey. Is that allowed?
It's a good one. I like it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's running. I'm sorry.
What is her name? Is it Carrie? Can you say Carrie?
Carrie?
Oh my God.
Hmm.
Oh my God. Thank you. Can you say my name?
You don't know what to think. I love it.
My name is or Joe. Say my name, please. Let me know that I can hear you. Say Joe. Joseph? Oh my.
That's my favorite one.
Happy? Yes, I am very, very, very happy. Thank you so much.
Look at that. Literally standing straight up.
I have got goosebumps. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I loved that.
Absolutely.
I saw it and I was like, oh my goodness. I was because you usually see a lot of people go, oh, look at my goosebumps, and you can't see nothing. I was
Mhm.
like, my God, his hair is literally standing straight up.
And that's the first time I really paid attention to it after we did it. And I was laughing because it was like the spirit said, "Are you happy that I said it?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
are you okay now?"
Right. I loved it because, like I said, y'all are so calm in your investigations and cool and collected, and you just lost it. You were like when she said her name and then said your name. I mean, I
Yeah.
loved the reaction.
I kind of afterwards when she said something about her eyes or whatever on the video, I kind of was freaked out, and I kind of felt kind of bad because of the way we kind of acted. And I'm like, I had to go and apologize to the spirit and to say I was sorry because I didn't mean to scare the
Right.
spirit, whoever it was. So yeah, I kind of felt bad about that.
And then in another clip that you don't see is we went into the little dining area because I heard a plate fall. So we went and investigated, and there was no plates nowhere. There was no way a plate could have fell out. So we were in there trying to figure out where that sound came from and what could have made it.
That is crazy. That is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Do we want to do another clip?
You want to go further?
Yeah,
Oh
everybody's
my God!
liking it.
You want to step? Oh my God! You're sharing and sharing.
Everybody's loving it.
Oh, let's
So
share
let's
some
set
more.
up the next clip.
All right, the next clip, we were at the Farnsworth Inn in Gettysburg, and we were getting ready. We had a shadow detector set up, and if you hear a beeping, that's what that is in the clip. So what we're doing is we're walking out the room. We're about to go investigate this area in the back of the Farnsworth.
That is like a camp.
Yeah, it's like a little Camp Tiger, I believe.
Yeah.
So we walk out, and I leave the camera going, and didn't really expect to get anything. So we shut the door. I shut the door, and I'm walking out. And anyway, in the camera of the room, you see something kind of dark go by. And I didn't pay it no attention to begin with. I was like, well, maybe it's just something with a camera. But then I kind of got the reading up and on that room, and other people have gotten a shadow in that room also, almost the same exact way. So I was like, well, I need to kind of add this in just in case, which, I mean, I kind of believe it might have been something because the TV was off. There was nobody else in there. So I don't know what it was, but it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, you also hear all kinds of noises as well.
Right.
I did because I had headphones on listening, and
Yep.
I was like, you can hear all these noises going on as well.
Yeah.
It seemed like we would go track it down or go try and figure out where it was coming from. We would go up to the attic. It would be down on the bottom floor. We go to the bottom floor. It'd be on the second floor. And we were like, well, where's it coming from? It keeps moving.
They're like playing with you.
Yeah. It was like trying to get us to go separate ways or something, trying to figure out where it was coming from.
The Farnsworth Inn has a real interesting history. And there's been a lot of paranormal reports there, a lot. And that's what really drew me there, because that's the house where they say possibly the bullet come from that killed Jenny Wade right down the street during the Civil War. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And so I had to check it out, and I wanted to see the attic so bad. And because of the pandemic, they wouldn't allow anybody up there. So I did get to speak with somebody, and they allowed us to go up in the attic just long enough to kind of film it. But that's not going to be in that clip, but it's in the full video.
Well, they'll have to go to your site to see.
Right.
Yeah, because you were wanting because I watched it and I was like, I was like, oh, only if that door was
I
unlocked.
know. I wanted to go in there so bad. I went out there so many times and wanted to get some kind of voice or something because I love that place.
But when you went at one time, and like I said, you have to wear headphones. You can hear. It sounds like boots walking on the. I mean, it was loud.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, oh my God. And it's just not like a little, you don't hear this little tiny, I mean, like they're walking this long
Hmm.
way. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God. I mean, it sounded just like heavy boots.
Hmm.
So I found that very interesting as well. I was like, oh wow. Okay. You want to let them check it out?
Yes, I'll let them check them out. Check it out. Okay.
No, I think I got those breaks just to show.
There's the beeping.
That's the shadow detector. He's a nice man. I wouldn't disrespect him. I already think there's something bad in there anyway, but nothing new.
Okay. Pause.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Put them back on. Hold on. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back.
Other thing I found.
Oh, I'm still sharing. Hold on.
Yes, dear.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oops, there you go.
The one thing I found very interesting when y'all were staying there was it shows you locking your door to the room. I mean, you see it, you hear it locking, and y'all came back, and the door was open.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. That
That's freaky.
Yes.
Yeah, and there was one time I didn't get this on camera though. I had a live stream set up, and right before the door being unlocked, this was all right before the door being unlocked. Not too long after that, we had a live stream going, and I was saying something to the camera because I'd come back in the room saying so. I think we got around 300 subscribers at the time. I was like, I'm glad we got 300 subscribers. Blah blah blah. I got ready to walk out into the hallway, and the lights were completely off, and they had just been on. And I was thinking, well, maybe it was a neighbor, which there was only one other couple staying with or at that Farnsworth that night. I walked downstairs, go out in the parking lot, and they're out in the parking lot just coming back in their vehicle. And I'm like, did y'all just go upstairs and turn the light off? They were like, no. So something turned the light off on us also. So there's definitely
Wow.
something weird, paranormal going on with that place. And I talked to the maid, and the maid said that the spirits in that McFarland room will open the door or unlock the door.
Oh wow.
And I tried hard to find the video, which I didn't have the camera pointing at the door. I tried hard though to find the clip where you could hear the door unlocking, and I think that I had found it, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I didn't share it. So, but yeah, that really
Yeah,
blew me away.
I saw that you were because you came back up and you're like, I know I shut the door.
Right.
It's just a brief clip, but I
Mhm.
know you came back and you were like, I know I should because it was even opened wider,
Right.
and I was like,
Yeah, I'm glad that I didn't really mean to film me shutting the door, but I'm glad that I accidentally did, because
Yeah.
that's what I went back and had to, check. And when I seen that I did lock it, I'm like, well, yeah, something was up with that.
Yeah, and y'all were the only one there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like somebody could just run up behind y'all and unlock that door. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is very, and what I found interesting is how Carrie was reading everybody's experiences in the room.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's interesting too. But, I
Yeah.
mean,
There's one too that's in the full video, I think, where we're asleep and you could hear, I guess, little toys or something in a drawer moving.
Yep.
And we were so worn out and tired and hot because it was in the middle of the summer, and we didn't even hear it until we actually got up and replayed it back.
Yep.
But you could hear stuff banging in there and stuff moving, and it was weird. But I'd probably stay there again if I ever went back. But it's a cute little place, and the owner is very, very nice.
Yeah.
it is. I love the room and how they did it. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful room.
Oh yeah. There is
That
toys
is
in the
very, very interesting.
there's toys in the middle drawer, which I didn't know that until about the day we were leaving. And there are blocks in that, I think, second from the top drawer, little like toy blocks with with the little alphabets on them and stuff. And that's really kind of what it sounds like. There's something in there playing with them blocks. But
Wow.
There's a little kid there
Jeremy.
named Jeremy. He's got his own little. They got an own little room for him that has blocks spelled out for his name, and people say they get stuff in that room too. But when we first stayed the night there, we kind of put out little toys and said that he could play with them if he wanted to. But I don't think that he ever did because his daddy is there too. So I don't think his daddy kind of wanted him to mess with it or
Right.
do anything. So it was kind of we having to ask his daddy and him to if he could play with it.
Right.
So,
It's interesting because, um, like you said, y'all didn't really feel anything bad there. It's just something that was playing games with you,
Yeah.
sending you downstairs,
Mhm.
all over the place, and
Right.
you were saying you were hearing things and moving in the dining room,
Mhm.
and yeah, sorry. And I found that very interesting. I mean, you got a lot of stuff out of the inn.
and the basement is where I heard he was walking around filming, and I was standing there by the door to the basement, and I heard sounded like a nurse and a doctor, like they were doing surgery down there, saying, and it sounded like the nurse saying, "I need more gauze," or "I need more something
Wow.
to pretty much patch this wound up." And I told him, and he went to the door. He's like, "I don't hear nobody." I'm like, "But I can hear them." So it's like I know that they're saying something.
Yeah, that is so cool. I mean, you're like that. I'm like, yeah, there's something here, and he's like, I
Yeah.
don't see it. What are you talking about?
He's
So,
got where he more trusts me now. When I say I hear something, then I hear something. So he's kind of got now to the point that okay, she heard something. Let me go see what's going on here. But
and that's the nice thing is you do have the your sense of picking up things, and that makes it so much easier on you guys when it comes to investigation.
yeah,
I mean, if you hear nothing, then you know it's not there. So there's no point in just sitting there and sitting there. So it brings an interesting vibe to the investigation.
mm-hmm.
I watch and I totally forgot to sub to the channel, but he's a pretty big guy. He's got a big team, and he's like, I always keep two sensitive psychics, whatever. And he, on my team always. And he says, because I don't want to waste my time in a big building talking to a chair or talking in a room and nothing being there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least I know where to go. I don't want to waste my time. I want to get evidence. So
Mhm.
I found that very interesting because,
Right.
I respect other people's beliefs, and
Mhm.
if they don't want to use somebody like that, that's okay. But I did get tickled by his response. He didn't want to waste time. So let's go to this clip I found very interesting. And you were collabing with the American Phantom Hunters.
Mm-hmm.
Right. American Phantom Hunters. We were up in the mountains.
We were in Maggie Valley, but we met them in Cataloochee.
Yep, Cataloochee. Yes, he took us on a ride up in the mountains. It's a state park, I believe it is.
With no cell phone service, no nothing.
No GPS,
Wow.
and he took us to a couple of locations that night. And the first place that he took us to was a place called Jarvis Palmer House, and he had been there a few times too. And if you go to American Phantom Hunter YouTube channel, he's got a couple videos there of the place. So
Hmm.
I was kind of interested in it. Also, when he took us there and we just started filming, by the time we got done, I didn't know that we had really got a whole lot. But what happened was I got back home and I got reviewing some of the stuff and I heard these voices and I'm like, they sound different than anybody else. So I contacted American Phantom Hunter. His name is Chris. And I asked him if he could help me debunk these voices. And he sent me a text back and said, that's nobody, not none of us. So that's how that came about. It was pretty interesting. He got it on his camera also, except his lens cap was on at the time accidentally. But
Oh,
yeah, he did include it into his video, in his collab video at the end of the video. So
hmm.
you can hear everything. It's just he
You
just
can't see
yeah,
nothing.
just accidentally he left it on. And but we got lucky and captured those voices. He told
That's
me
awesome.
that which you can hear the voices and stuff on the clip, that he believed that something dark has moved into the Jarvis Palmer house.
Now, isn't there like from what I was understanding, like a, a,
Oh, very good.
a community that lived there at one point, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back in the day, there actually the Jarvis Palmer house. There's a post office built, I guess, into that house. So there used to be a community back there back in the day. I'm not sure how many places are still standing there today. I know I went on the website and I found a couple, but there used to be a community back there at one time. So railroad track, I believe, used to run right through the back.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Chris told me that there was a cemetery in the back, but I could never find it. He said it was kind of back in the woods a little bit, but yeah, it was quite a. I forget how many people he told me that used to live back there. So
Wow,
yeah, it was
that's
cool.
interesting. Well, let's give it a look and see.
All right.
Roll camera.
This house is going to be a talk to. I got you. School. We can get to it. Church. And the rest of them. God's. That place. All in all. Super home. Well, this place is home too. Dana likes to hang out here, I believe. Anybody can get ever touch this meter right here. So, folks, tonight we got Jody from the Paranormal Side program.
That was this.
That was, yeah, that was really, really cool.
Oh,
I was off with Chris's girlfriend, wife. I'm not sure if they're married or not, but I was off with her and I was upstairs and I could hear a woman saying hello. And it was like she was saying hello or something. And it was so weird that it was like, I asked Chris because he goes there a lot. And he's like, I've heard her up there too. It seems like she stays up there in one of them rooms. But it was like you could hear her plain as day, hello.
Wow.
But
That's
he wasn't
really-
with me, so he couldn't have got it on video.
Right. But that's like what it's 2 cabins that were put together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's very weirdly done up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm guessing that the post office was built later on after the house was built.
That's insane. And that has to be some rough living right there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, there's nothing upstairs in those bedrooms. There's no fireplace. There's nothing.
Mm-mm.
Being up in the mountains,
And
I
it's
know how cold it can get.
yes.
That's interesting. I like old. I guess you would call them ghost towns. My grandfather, who has since passed, had told my father that when he was a kid, they would sneak out of their house and they would go to this town that's in the middle of nowhere. And it's a town that kids aren't supposed to be in. I mean, this is where they were doing moonshining, so there was a saloon, prostitution was going on. I mean, everything. And it was the first time my grandfather, there was a shootout middle of this very small, little tiny, place. And they were terrified and ran home. So I've been trying to find this ghost town because I so badly want to go and see what if anything is there. He called it Hell Town. But I mean, what I would give to find this place.
Right.
Because my family's up in the North Georgia mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Both my mom and my father both sides family. My grandfather was a moonshiner. He ran moonshine. Never got caught for it. Got caught in Atlanta running numbers.
Oh my.
Go figure. So I love these communities that were once there
Mm-hmm.
and no more. So that's really, I like that. That was really cool. And I think the next clip isn't that Trans-Allegheny?
Yeah, Trans-Allegheny. This is the part where I think we were on the 2nd floor, I believe. They told us that down this one hall that there was a spirit that liked to open doors, and they called the spirit creepy. You could be down the hallway and all of a sudden, just be sitting there quietly and hear the door open. So I'm sitting there thinking, I want to go sit down here. So I'm going to go sit down here, but I'm not really expecting to hear anything. Because, how many times is something like that really going to happen while you're there? So while we're sitting down there, and I turn my flashlight on. I believe I turn it on, and I hear something down the hall, like something don't like the light being on. So then a few seconds later, you hear something open a door, or the door creeps. And I don't never see a door open or close. So, it was kind of weird. So
Let's check it out. Holy cow.
Okay, sharing again. Yeah, this doesn't go fluid. I wanted to download the video with our 4K downloader, so I could chop it up and then put it in here, so it's easier to stream constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And that damn thing didn't want to go. So
that's the way it always is.
Isn't that life, right?
guys. We're on the second floor right now. This is the hallway where they call a spirit named Creepy. The reason why they do that is because sometimes he'll close doors on you in the creepiest way without you even expecting it.
That's just creepy right there.
Mm-hmm.
They can hear you, you know.
Yes, I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was hard to hear, but I tried to turn it up as much as we could.
I love the expression.
Yeah.
I
Well, it's not bad that you don't hear anything on this one, because they can go to your site and watch the
Right.
video,
Right.
put
It's
the headphones on and
Mhm.
listen to it.
yep.
that's
Because I don't want to start with that, but it's off topic.
Mm-hmm.
But if we contact somebody and we say, so like, would you go for an interview? And then they say like, well, you know, tell me something about you. And say, well, go to our site, watch our videos. You want to know something?
and they're
watch
worth
our,
it. I mean, like I said, before. I mean,
Mm.
let's see, how long have I been on you? Just YouTube milling around, maybe two and a half years, somewhere around there.
Yes.
And I ran across you guys, and I've been watching and watching and watching sporadically. And then, you know, when I did my channel, you know, I was like, originally wanted to interview, but I wanted to grow a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've got to have them on because I enjoy the investigation. I love how calm y'all got. You're just calm. She's just sitting there, and most people are freaking out and, you know, yelling. And it just tickles me every single time. You know, I watch y'all's videos, and you go get good stuff, and I love the honesty of it. So you guys, they are absolutely worth subbing to. Absolutely, I enjoy it. So should we do a quick 10 questions? Get to know
Sure.
you.
Let's
What do you
do
think,
10
guys?
questions.
Oh,
Let's put them on the spot.
Put 'em on the spot. Like, oh, come on. I ain't that evil.
Here comes the firing squad.
The firing squad. Okay. So the first question, are you night owls? Or are you morning people?
I'm night owl. I can stay up from the time the sun goes down till the sun comes up, and then it's like I go to sleep. He's the opposite because he works from 5 in the morning to 5 at night, so he's kind of half night, half morning person.
Yeah. I used to be a nighttime person, but I've slowly graduated to sleeping at night.
Right. You have no choice.
Right.
No matter. I love that. So, what is your favorite drink? And it can be alcoholic or non-alcoholic.
You want to go first?
Mine is sweet tea.
Just sweet tea.
Yeah, just sweet tea, no drinks. No.
Yes.
My
That was
favorite.
the one thing it was difficult for me because I grew up, you make your own sweet tea.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved to Holland, and everybody's like, sweet tea, but it's the Lipton bottled tea. And I was like, ugh,
Oh yeah.
no, this just, and it was hard. I went 4 years without sweet tea. The minute we moved back, bought my sweet tea maker because I used to do it the old school way with the pot and the bags in there, and then So I got a sweet. I was like, oh, I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I mean, you complained because it was too sweet.
Yeah.
That's what he does about me. He complains mine is too sweet. But if I go anywhere like Gettysburg, they didn't have sweet tea. Their sweet tea was like half sweet, half unsweet. So you would either get unsweet or you would get a little mixture of both. So it was not very good. So I would make a jug of tea and I'd take it with me, put it in the cooler, and I'd have my tea the whole time I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
they're thinking, y'all, well, I don't say y'all because you never drank it,
No.
but it was always the lemon that everybody loved.
We have hot tea and hot coffee.
Mm.
We don't have sweet, cold tea.
I do the coffee, but I don't do the hot tea.
he's a Mountain Dew person.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he drinks is Mountain Dew.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Ginger ale's mine. Okay. What do you hope never changes?
Mm.
You can first.
I don't know what you think about it. Hope never changes. That's a hard one. Let's see. Well, I hope that what we have going on right now, as far as being able to investigate and being able to upload like we do, I hope that that doesn't change and we just continue to grow from there. Well, we're not going to get this. We're going to stay dishonest, so that's more than a hope.
I like it. Good. I mean, I like that. That was really good. Really good. Let's see. I've got a bunch here. So, what takes up too much of your time?
Edit the videos, editing.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a lot of time. I probably spend anywhere between 20 and 40 hours editing a video.
Then we got a DVR system, so we got to get all the footage off the DVR and put it on the flash drive and get all that footage. So it's a lot.
That's
There
what's
you go.
taking a lot of our time.
How do you start your day?
I start mine out by getting up and just going to work. But whenever I get a chance, I try to put the videos together, But how do you start your day out?
Taking care of my dad.
My thing is, I gotta have my coffee. Gotta have my coffee.
Yeah, and it's funny because we complement each other because she wants coffee and I make it.
And I like strong coffee. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good
Because
thing.
everybody complains our coffee's too strong.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie genre?
Horror.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah,
See,
I like.
the problem is I'm stuck between two. I love horror, but I also love my 80s movies. I love them.
Oh yeah.
I'm a sucker for that. I can't help it.
I like the older like 80s and 90s movies, like the Friday the 13th, maybe Freddy Krueger, Jason. I love zombie movies. Anything with a zombie in it, I pretty much love it. So I mean, don't have to be new. I mean, it could be old too, especially the old like George Romero, Night of the Living Dead movie. I love that.
I think you've seen about all the zombie movies.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Where is the most interesting place you've been?
We can't do thingy, but we can do if people are thingy. What's
Yeah, Stephanie's going. coffee very strong. That's our I mean, it is some strong coffee, but I mean, I got to get myself functioning, and it helps with headaches.
What's your most interesting?
Most interesting place that I have been, I would have to say, Gettysburg, because all the history that actually happened there. You know, I mean, I love history, and I especially love the Civil War. I mean, I love the American Revolution and all that good stuff too. But I mean, something about the Civil War, and I mean, anything dealing around that time period from the Revolutionary to the Civil War is really interesting. So, my top place I would have to say Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm a big history person as well.
Right.
And I think it's just, I mean, my 3-time great grandfather fought in the Revolutionary War, and made his way down here. And then the family kind of branched off. And then it wasn't much long after, then he was called back to duty to fight the Creek Indian War in South Georgia. I was like, my goodness. I mean, that's nasty. And then my 2 times great grandfather, right?
Mhm.
Yes, fought in the Civil War. And it's interesting because we have family members in my family where they were fighting for the South and then decided to change and fought for the North. It was very weird. I was like, oh, okay. Family reunion must have been fun back then.
I imagine.
That's like my family. My daddy, his ancestors and stuff were fighting for the North. My mama's side was fighting for the South. So it was like my mama and daddy both were kind of like fighting against each other almost. But
That's the other thing that piqued my interest was when I moved to Holland. I never did any research about where I was moving, and most everybody in Holland can speak English. I think I ran across 3 people the 4 years I was there that couldn't speak English. But I was picking up on things I had no idea about. I mean, I witnessed where the Germans, I mean, his city first was bombed, I mean, and leveled. And then after the bombing, it's the gas lines, correct, that caught fire?
Well, and the wooden houses, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, and the houses are very close to each other. So once one fire started, the rest started burning.
So
too,
everybody was in their basement, you know, from the bombing, and they survived it. But they were killed from the fires, and I mean, I was like, oh my goodness. But
Yeah.
I witnessed German soldiers pulling people, women, children, men, out of their homes, and they were lining them up on the street. And what they were trying to do is lure the Dutch resistance out. And I'm standing there, I'm witnessing this whole thing unfold, and I'm telling him as I'm watching it. And I said, "Oh my God, they just shot them." I said, "They're shot," and this is the first time I've ever, in front of him, experienced residual energy, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" He had no idea. So he did research and found out the location and realized there was a plaque on the other side of the wall that
Remembered,
memorialized the
yeah.
thing. And he was just like, what? Huh? And then there was only a few buildings that survived, and they had a prison that survived the bombing. And we would have to drive by it, and we always got stuck in traffic in front of this stupid prison because every time I would get sick to my stomach, and I said, you could not pay me enough money to go in that building. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, people were being tortured in there. I was like, I can hear them screaming. I can smell the blood. I horrible things. I was like, I mean, it's just, I'm getting nauseous and because I can see it, I can hear it, I can smell it. And he's like, okay, so well, he talked to a historian, and the historian says, yeah, the Germans took the politicians out of City Hall and let go some of the prisoners and tortured them in this prison. And he came home and he goes, you did it again. How, what, how are you doing this? And it was just, I was just so intrigued with it. But then I found out my grandfather fought in World War II and fought in the Battle of the Bulge. He was the relief that came in, and we got to go to the Battle of the Bulge and see the museum and everything and all the castles. And then he somehow worked his way down and ended up in the south of Holland and stayed with a Dutch family. And I was like, okay, that's creepy. What, I mean, you can't, the coincidence is, and it's funny because we were the same age as my grandparents when they got married. We were the same age when we had our son and when they had my father. And I was like, this is just too weird. Our age difference matches. So I was like, okay, this is just. And you thought, I mean, you're shocked by the whole thing, everything happening.
Yeah, I'm still shocked. I'm still not over it.
I mean,
it still doesn't compute in this head of mine. So, like, yeah, okay.
and that's why I would love to go to Gettysburg just to see the residual energy and see what actually happened. And then going back and seeing if what I saw is true, and you believe, and there's no doubt, because everything, he kept questioning why I wasn't picking anything up in City Hall, because you can see on the outside of City Hall still the bullets from them taking over the city. And he was like, why aren't you picking anything up on City Hall? I said, well, I am, but it's the upper levels where they haven't done as much work on the building. And I said, but the main level has changed so much over the year that the imprint is just buried. It just, over time you get different. So it was, I love history. It just, I love trying to, our big thing is my two-time great-grandfather that fought in the Civil War. He was murdered. So our goal is to.
We still have to bring that out.
Yeah, I know.
The whole story.
I want to find their
It's a big
homestead. And the problem is, at the time, he died 1880, and they eventually turned it into a national forest. And of course, once my grandmother moved out, then I know in the 70s, my dad and uncle and my great aunt found the homestead. So it's a nightmare. I'm trying to find it so I can complete the story, because I just find it so fascinating. Everything. So
yeah,
what
very
can you say?
fascinating.
History just.
Yeah, and this girl asked me, like, well, now I'm in Europe, why don't we go by Auschwitz? And I said, like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bring you there.
No. You flat out refused. I was like, oh my God, I'm in Europe. Really?
You want to talk about misery and all that stuff, and what will you pick up there? No.
Yep.
I don't need it in my house.
Yeah. Don't need
I
any
mean,
Nazi history.
but to me, that's history, and that's so intriguing to me. And he was like, no, it ain't gonna
Nope,
happen.
nope.
He's like, I'm scared how you're gonna react, and the sad thing is with Auschwitz, you can't take cameras in. They won't allow you to take any cameras at all in. But I just wanted to experience it. I mean, because here I am, I'm just this little Southern girl, and I was 33,
29,
34 when I moved
28,
to Holland.
something like that.
That's the first time I ever left the country.
He was very young.
I'm just this little Southern girl, and I'm just like, I'm in Europe. Woohoo! Let's go. So it's fun. So, where is the most relaxing place you've ever been to?
Most relaxing place I've ever been to.
Me, Big Williamsburg.
Yeah, I think it's Williamsburg, Virginia. We both love that place also.
I wanted to move there
Yeah,
because it's so nice and
yeah,
peaceful, and
yeah. A lot of things to do also. Busch Gardens, water country.
I wore him out on Busch Gardens though. He won't take me back. He's like, no, we're not going back.
There you go. What is your favorite restaurant?
Mine will have to be Cracker Barrel.
I like that too. I kind of like what was it? Not Cracker Barrel, not Red Lobster, but the Outback Steakhouse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that place. Pretty expensive, but some good food though.
It was funny. You say Cracker Barrel because it was the first time my husband ever been to America. And he flew into Mississippi because that's where my dad's from. Because I was just going to fly over there, and my dad's like, no, he needs to come here, and I want to meet him. Because you're this is during the whole Natalie Holloway thing, and so we were in Cracker Barrel, and I was talking to the waitress, and the waitress, me and her just carrying on a conversation, and she walked away, and he goes, do you know her? And I was like, no, I don't know her. I'm from Georgia. I'm like, I think I can't even remember where we were.
Alabama.
Were we in Alabama?
Yeah.
I was like, no, well, you talk to her like you know her. I said, honey, I'm from the South. We talk to people. There's no such thing as strangers.
My husband gets on me all the time. He's like, stop talking to them people so much. Let them go. I'm like, I can't do it. It's a Southern thing. Talk somebody's ear off until you got to go or something.
Because it was funny when I moved to Holland, I was like, oh my God, y'all are all so rude. I mean, I just thought they were the rudest people because nobody ever talks to each other. And, it's hi. That's just all you get. Oh, he's got the hammer out.
No.
I'm fixing to get it. And I will do one last question. And let's see. That's a good one. Oh, what is your favorite smells or smell?
What do you think?
I'm thinking on mine. What do you think?
My favorite smell. I like the smell of roses.
Mine are any type of fresh flowers you can find. I love them all. But
What do you miss about Holland since moving here? Because you've complained about it so many times.
What do I miss?
What did they just say?
What, flowers?
Yeah.
Yeah, because flowers are so damn expensive over here. That is ridiculous. It is. I mean, really, what I can buy for €2 over there, and it's like over here, it's like $10. the
Yeah, orchids weren't. I mean, because I was shocked at how I was like, orchids are expensive here, and over there it's. But everybody, like, if you were invited to somebody's house, you bring a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, it's flowers of some sort, and
yeah, and buy big bushels of flowers.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and they sell them everywhere. So I was like, wow, okay, I love your flowers, your tulips.
I miss fresh herring.
No, explain to him what it is first. Go
What?
ahead, explain to him.
It's fresh herring. You get it
Raw.
like in May, and then it's like nice and young,
It's
and
raw.
it's buttery, but it's raw and it's with onions. Yeah, raw with onions.
With onions,
Raw fish with onions. Yes.
raw onions.
Yeah.
And he laughed at me. I was like, did they put oil on your fish? And he was like,
No.
no, that's from the fish. I was like, oh. So you go to the market and they're all sitting there with the tail up in the air eating it.
Mm.
Oh. Yeah, I was in for a load of shock. So do we want to? So now that we're done with getting to know them,
Yes. Okay.
do we want to play another clip?
Sure. We can do another clip on. You want another clip on?
Do you want to introduce this one?
I'm trying to remember which one that one was. That was
Was it the battleship?
Oh yeah.
It was the USS Battleship in Wilmington.
Yeah. This one I haven't released yet on YouTube. This is kind of exclusive. And what happens is I walk up to. We just left the canteen area where they eat at, and we walk into the room, and in a plexiglass cage is, I guess, where they set up where they would have church or whatever they would do. And I say, and I kind of mess my words up, and I say, is this where they would pray or say a prayer or something like that? And then you hear something say, no. Then I correct myself and say, is this where they used to pray at? But in between the two, you can hear something say no, or it sounds like no to me. And it's kind of wild. I know it won't me, I know it won't her, and there was no one else around the vicinity, and it was just kind of loud. And
Okay.
that was the battleship of USS North Carolina in Wilmington, North Carolina.
I did on one of my paranormal breaking news, I discussed that location, and I was so excited to see that you guys did it, because I have not. I mean, there may be other groups out there that went to this,
Mm-hmm.
but what happened on that submarine has to be so frightening for the people, that all those soldiers that were on there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was torpedoed. I think 4 people were killed.
Mm-hmm.
If I can remember correctly, because it's been a while since I did it. But I was so tickled that you did it. And then when you told me that you have, a longer version of it, I was like, oh my goodness. Ooh. So
Here we go.
This is the chapel area that we came to earlier today. Anybody in there saying any prayer?
oh,
Anybody in there saying any prayers?
you can hear that without headphones.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was a really quick no. Hello.
All right.
Hello. Hello. You're spacing out.
Yeah. Oh, we're not doing this. Yeah, you're funny.
He's just sitting there watching it. Hello. But I was so tickled, and I was like, oh, I would love to go and check that place out. But after watching you guys walk through those horrible doorways,
Hmm.
I knew there was no way I could physically visit that place. I absolutely
Yeah,
was
It
shocked.
was it was almost like you had to do hurdles in there. You had to lift your legs
right.
way up in there and put them over the other side and lift the other one up, and it was like constantly having to do that. And
It
When
was.
I was watching all, I was like, here the submarine was hit with a torpedo. You know they had to start closing those doors.
Locks.
Mhm.
Yep.
And, and I'm sitting there thinking, they're struggling because I can hear y'all climbing, literally climbing over
Mhm.
each of those doorways. And I was like,
Mhm.
those poor guys on that darn submarine, they had to be doing sprints and hurdling each doorway. I was like, that is just
Yep.
crazy.
Mhm.
But the reports say it's quite haunted, so I cannot
Yeah.
wait to see you premiere the longer
Oh
video
yeah.
because I
It's
just
coming.
thought it was so interesting.
Yeah, it's coming. I'm working on it right now. I'm kind of working on two right now. That one and a residential investigation. I'm trying to get both of them out really. But that one, the North Carolina battleship though, it's I'm gonna be honest. When I left there, I didn't really know if that thing was haunted like they said it was. And but after going back and reviewing everything, things are starting to show up. So
Oh wow!
yeah, I mean
Because I didn't have no spots where, oh, I hear somebody talking
right.
to me, or
Right.
I felt anything, because I didn't feel nothing or hear nothing that night. So I was like, well, maybe it ain't as haunted as they say it is.
Yeah.
But then he got certain things on camera, so it was like, well, maybe it is. But
Wow.
there
Yeah.
was so many people in that group that most of them were loud, so you couldn't hear anything anyway, because it was like half of them were loud, and then the torpedo spot that they had, we wanted to get to when they were hogging that. So it was like we couldn't ever get anywhere we wanted to because people were sitting
Right.
there for like 30 minutes to an hour just
Wow.
sitting there. And I was like, let other people have a chance.
Well, we got a chance to be able to investigate it. We booked the spot with USA Ghost Hunts,
Mm-hmm.
and they do paranormal events, and so we got in through them, and there might have been 30 people, maybe a little more, but that ship is so big. There were a lot of places where nobody was, but in the main spots, especially in the torpedo area, that's why we couldn't really do a really good investigation down there, because they stayed down there. Other people stayed. So we just couldn't really get down there like we wanted to. Now, I did do a walkthrough pretty much video that's about, I think, 20 or 30 minutes long before our actual real video that's coming out. And that's on our channel too. But that's the one we really get to show the torpedo area. And that's where the people lost their lives at.
That's because when I watched the video, and I watched it twice, that's how intrigued I was with it. And I was like, my gosh, they're so loud. I mean, because you could hear the echoing of them walking above, and
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, my gosh.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize how big it was because I know you, Joe, you kept saying it's big. This is. I mean, I was like, gosh, I never imagined how
It
big
is.
that thing is.
Yeah, it's a floating city, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much.
And then as you were telling me, I mean, you were carrying all your equipments and
Oh yeah.
backpacks and having to hop through those
Yeah.
doorways. I was like,
Yeah. My hair was completely soaking wet, and I mean, I was just dripping sweat. And I mean, that's how hot it was getting to us, because we actually had to work to walk around and to get over those locks. So once you get up the upper levels, it gets a lot better, but still you have ladders you have to climb up and down.
Mhm.
So if somebody has any kind of disabilities or anything, it would be really a hard thing to
Yeah,
do.
when I saw your video, I was like, nope, nope, there's no way I'd ever be able to do it. I was
Yeah.
like, because I was like, oh, but I was, no,
Mhm.
that ain't gonna happen with me.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. And I mean, you even showed the map, the like the blueprint of the
Mhm.
level and where the torpedo hit,
Yeah.
and you even showed a picture from when it was hit. I mean, the
Yeah.
whole my God,
Yeah.
I'm shocked that it survived.
Nah, me too. Me too. I'm really surprised it didn't sink.
I know they were going to junk it,
Mm-hmm.
and North Carolina, the state of North Carolina said, no, 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 no. You bring it here.
Mm-hmm.
What we have a place for it. It's history. It shouldn't be junked. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that is really awesome that they did that.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad they saved it.
yeah, and that you have the day tour,
Mm-hmm.
which has nothing to do with paranormal. It's just
Mm-hmm.
all that. And then at night, they said that's when, all the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
I
guard,
was so tickled to see that. I thought that was so awesome.
we had one guard tell us his story about the ship where it was one night he was out there doing his rounds and he went and locked up everything. And by the time he got back to where he was supposed to be, the alarm would go off. Well, he'd go turn the alarm off, get reset it, come back, and by the time he got back again to where he was, it would go off again. So he
That's
said,
too much work.
yes. He said pretty much all night long it kept going off. So he had to pretty much leave it off.
That's interesting. That is, I like that. Do you want to do their next clip?
Yes, ma'am. I'm totally set up on roughly these things.
Yep. So next one is we're in Gettysburg again. We got a lot of films from there,
Mm-hmm.
but this is an exclusive clip. Also, I haven't released this video yet neither. We were investigating what they call the battlefield farmhouse, and there were other people there with us. We were investigating through the Gettysburg Paranormal Association, and they took us to this location. And like I said, it was called the Battlefield Farmhouse. And right behind his house is Colt Hill. So as we're investigating this house, it was getting close to the time to go. And I was just kind of filming, and I'd already walked through the house by myself, and then a couple guys come in the room, and she comes in taking pictures also, and the guys are telling me that they got scratched or something, and that there was a strong presence in there. And she starts taking pictures, and we're standing right side by side each other. And then all of a sudden, I kind of hand the camera to the side. And I guess when she flashes, somehow we get this black shadow thing right up against the wall. And I have tried to rack my brain to try to debunk this. And I cannot think about how this shadow could have been casted on the wall with
Oh,
us
wow.
in each other, right side by each other. So it was weird. And it kind of looks like something with like a cloak. And I have slowed it down. There's also a replay after that clip runs by full speed. When I've slowed it down, you can see it kind of moving a little bit also, like it's got a little movement to it. So it's kind of odd.
Okay.
You turn that blurry again.
There's a weird feeling going up to the attic by yourself. You know?
Yeah. It's hard to hear me.
Yeah.
Oh, because you can see the head and the shoulders and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah. I just can't figure out how we could have possibly got that. Um, it was weird, and I was really reluctant to share it online for a while. But I'm putting the whole video together, and I'm gonna show it. See, kind of the story is about that house. The reason why the Gettysburg Paranormal Association investigates that home is because apparently, from what they told us, is that people used to rent the home. They couldn't stay very long. Something would kind of drive them away. So they decided to rent it and do investigations there. And I kind of understand why now, I guess. But
Yeah.
that ball that was in the corner of that room, that ball will move from room to room, upstairs, downstairs, and it's kind of wild.
It'll go down the stairs by itself and be in the living room area, sitting in the middle of the floor.
Oh, another thing too is during the Civil War, that also used to be a Civil War hospital, and they used to do all kinds of amputations and everything, and they would throw the limbs out the window, out the window into the yard.
Yeah, they had like a little grave type hole that they would throw them out the window, and then when they were done, they would go and put the dirt back over top.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. That it's interesting because it reminds me of when I was 16, I saw a shadow figure in my room. It was the middle of the night, and it was so inky black.
Yeah.
And I remember the window in that bedroom was in the corner. And so you could see the street light that's outside.
Mhm.
And this shadow just kept growing and growing to the point where it blocked out that entire light outside. And that is inky. It's inky black. I mean,
Right.
that is very interesting.
You would think also if it was a shadow, it wouldn't be so dark.
Right.
You know. So yeah, it's
you see the head, you see the
Yeah.
shoulder,
yeah.
and everything. That is a very interesting find. I mean, very interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it freaked me out when I was
16.
yeah. When I first noticed it, it really kind of freaked me out a little bit because I was standing there editing or just messing with the clips, and I'm like, what was that? And I had to go back and really examine it. I'm like, how could this have happened? And if she's standing right beside me at an angle like that, and she's taking a picture and I'm filming, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. So it was kind of weird.
That's that's awesome and creepy at the same time.
Right.
I mean, no wonder nobody's staying in the place. I mean, they would want to.
I know.
That is, wow. Yeah, I'm gonna look for that one too. I mean, I'm that.
Yeah. I've been trying to do some research, especially been looking through the pictures of the Gettysburg Association. They post a lot of their older pictures on their site. I believe it's on Facebook, and to see if anybody else had gotten anything similar. And so far, I haven't seen anything, but I really want to, I'm really intrigued. Somebody's had to have something over a period of time if they've been doing investigations, I feel like. But
right.
I mean, I don't. The way they do things is just they'll give you a bag of like K2 meters, EMF. A thing to record EVPs with, a recorder, and a couple like a digital temperature thing, and they'll kind of tell you about the history. and it'll tell you about where the hot spots are in a certain location. And but one of the things that night was every time somebody took a picture of me with a camera, even her. Go ahead.
He would have like this big black shadow, like standing like right here or here, and it was like wherever he went, it would be there.
It's like a blurred, blackish looking thing, and I'm gonna share that in my video also.
Yeah, because that's very interesting. It obviously took an interest in you.
Yeah.
That is very, very interesting. So I'll just ask, a couple more questions, and one question is, what equipments do you use on your investigation?
We use K2 meters, EVP recorder, what is it? The temperature gauge. What's the thing with the headphones?
The headphones?
Yeah.
Spirit box?
Spirit box. Oh. We have a little laser grid that we bought while we were in Gettysburg that kind of like shines a grid on the wall so you can see if something passes through it. We have a motion detector. We have the Connect camera. And am I missing anything?
Yeah, we got the SLS Connect, and with the motion thing that she's talking about, it's like a shadow detector. We bought it. What it is it's supposed to detect shadows, and it's pretty neat. It's just like a motion sensor, pretty much. And then I went to Amazon. I bought the motion sensors like you see in stores when you're walking past it, and you kind of makes a ding noise. And I set them up sometimes also, and just I try to keep it simple, but I want to be able to record temperature. I want to be able to record the barometric pressure and all that good stuff. And I keep it I don't really write it all down, but I do try to keep it recorded with the camera.
Right.
Just in case I ever need to go back and refer to it for anything. And also I keep up with the moon phase also.
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing I noticed with your channel is y'all keep it simple, and that's what I like. I mean, I know you also have the cat balls.
Yeah.
At the same location up at the mountains, I saw the American
Phantom Hunters.
And I saw they were in the smokehouse. And that's another. I watched your video where you walked outside, and I had the headphones on, and I could hear a male voice over your voice, but I could not understand a word it was saying, but it was a deeper voice than yours.
Yeah,
I could hear it as you're walking out.
Yeah.
When you were in there, I didn't hear it, and then when you came back out, I heard it just a little bit. Right. But I was like, I can hear a male voice speaking.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I don't know if I really mentioned it in my video, but I can hear it also.
Yeah, I think
you didn't. Because I was like, I wonder if he hears that, because it's just right over your voice, and it's deeper.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, it's just going and going. And I was like, does he hear that? I wasn't sure if you heard that or not. And it just, but then when you went in the smokehouse, it stopped. Right. And you came back out, and I heard it just a few more times, and then that was it. And I was like, because I had to keep going back and listening, because my ears ring 24/7, and so I have to really concentrate. So I kept going back, and I was like, yeah, that's what it's a male voice. And I was so upset that I couldn't hear it because it's so low. You can't make out what it's saying, but you can hear it. I was like, and I was like, he's got to hear it.
I'm really glad you said something about that because I didn't know if I needed to mention it or not. See, I kind of like to let people be a part of the
Yes.
investigation too, and if they hear or see something, I want them to call it out the best they can. And
Right.
I mean, I want to try to include everybody, and because I know not everybody can get out and do it.
That's that. Well, see, that's what I like because whatever you pick up, you don't splash the words there,
Right.
and it's interesting because I can hear that sometimes people hear different things than other people, or they'll hear something different than the
Mhm.
people that are investigating. And I thought I like that about your channel, and and that you keep it simple. I really like that because with the combination of everything and y'all just being so calm, because I mean I was just like, my gosh, they're so calm.
I have nothing
I like
wrong.
the reactions when y'all do get something big. I like y'all's reaction
Yeah.
because it's not over the top.
Right.
It's just right.
Yeah.
And so I I highly recommend all you guys to sub to them because they are a really classy team. I cannot rave enough about you guys. You keep it simple. You don't put the words up there. You let
Right.
it's like me saying there was somebody talking to you outside that cabin.
Mhm.
I mean, and you never even said a word about it. And that to me is, you keep people's attentions that way.
Yeah, and we
Oh,
also like to kind of include everybody too. So
yeah.
we kind of
Right.
leave stuff out on purpose to see if other people hear it and comment on what time it was and what they heard. And then we'll go back and listen to see if we hear what they heard. So
Well, I really enjoyed. I mean, the evidence y'all got was superb. I loved it. Like I said, I can't speak highly enough about y'all. I mean, y'all are so wonderful and so pleasant, and it's just y'all got to sub to them, watch their videos because it is so worth it. You don't know when something's gonna go off, and that's what I love is seeing y'all's reactions. Oh, I mean, y'all have been absolutely wonderful.
I
I
appreciate.
love talking with y'all and hearing all this wonderful stuff about you guys.
Good deal.
And I wish nothing but the best, and I hope your channel grows tremendously because y'all absolutely deserve it. I mean, I've watched y'all in the middle of summer sweating it out and not complaining and just putting your best foot forward. I just love it. And you can tell you guys are honest and I just, what do you have to say, honey?
I don't know. I just want to see if somebody in the chat maybe still has a question for them.
Does it? Yeah. Before we end this, does anybody have a quick question? Because I forgot about them.
Yeah,
Oh, shame on me.
you forget our viewers, our poor
Our
viewers.
poor viewers.
Mm. Mhm. I can wait.
Try to type something else.
Uh,
I mean, I've been watching the chat as
Yeah.
y'all were talking, and everybody has just been raving about y'all's evidence. I mean,
That's good.
that's awesome. I mean, to see them rave about y'all,
Yeah,
that
I appreciate it. I really do.
thank you. I know when I first started out, I didn't expect to be on YouTube. Because when you first start out, you don't think you're ever going to end up on YouTube, and you're just constantly doing what you normally do with evidence. And then he was like, oh, he came to me 2 years ago and said, oh, well, let's put this on YouTube. And I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm so glad y'all did, because y'all have got wonderful evidence. And I mean, even me listening, the footsteps, those loud footsteps, I was blown away by how loud it was. I was like, those have got to be boots. And you even went down to try and mimic the sound.
Yep.
And it was very, very close. Like I said, it's the Bigfoot, the heavy. I mean, I was like, those are boots.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like that y'all do that. You try to explain, first, and then go, well, okay. So y'all are absolutely classy, top quality. I absolutely enjoyed showing y'all's evidence, talking to y'all, and you sharing your stories. I mean, that's awesome.
Well, I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank
I
you.
hope you grow, and I will promote y'all. I mean,
Oh yeah, we will too.
I love it. Y'all are wonderful. Let's see. Hang on. It says new comments.
There's new
So
comments.
come on.
Are you
Come
sure?
on.
No. People are just saying,
Yeah.
can't wait to watching the video. So
Yeah, I saw a lot of people are saying that they're going to go and check y'all out and watch your videos.
Yeah, they're all welcome too.
Yes.
I mean,
we appreciate anybody who subscribes. I mean, we do it. That's what we really are doing it for. We're putting our evidence out there to let other people see it, and they can be the judge. I don't really like to make paranormal claims too much. Just I say a possible EVP, but and I like to try to let people be included. And but
that's what matters.
Right. But I'm on.
I mean, because anybody can go into these buildings and with the history of them and say, oh, that's paranormal. But I like how you guys try to, it's y'all are just absolutely wonderful. And I am so glad I got to talk with y'all and share y'all's story, because man alive, y'all got some good stuff.
We got some new videos coming out soon too. Plus, we got some more investigations that we're going to do also this year. I would like to try to do some live streams also at locations, as long as the internet signal holds up.
Right.
That's going to be the biggest problem.
Right.
Yeah, we were going to do it. I think we thought about doing it at Trans-Allegheny. But on the way up there was no cell phone signal, no nothing. So when we got there, it was kind of like spotty. It was kind of worked, kind of didn't. So we never did it. We just filmed it the other way with our cameras and our EVP recorders.
It would be interesting for them to do a live with what they're picking, with what y'all are picking up. I mean, a live would be interesting, definitely. I mean, to be able to see it real time.
Yep.
That would be awesome. Well, I'm so glad. I wanted to say next week we have Jeremy of Paranormal Purgatory. He's going to be coming on and showing his evidence and telling his stories. So you guys in the chat, look forward to another interesting story. But I thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Y'all are absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
I have to tell you, if you come to Georgia, don't go to Savannah. 20 minutes away is Kennestow Mountain. And it is haunted, and Marietta Square is haunted, and come
Oh.
check it out. I mean,
We're going back.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to Georgia. We just got everything lined up to when we're gonna do it, and most time we don't do stuff in the winter, but sometimes we do.
right.
But with this COVID, it's kind of hard to know where you can go and who's on lockdown and who's not. So
Right.
it's kind of hard to figure out where you can go.
Well, Georgia is not on lockdown, so
Yeah, that's the nice thing. They closed the park for a little bit because the way the battle was fought is there was a battle on the mountain, but off to the side is a smaller area, and that is where I think it was General Hood, or not General Hood.
no. You can
I know his last name is Hood.
Yeah.
He's the one that he set it up because he knew how the Union was going to come in, and they thought they were going to have a straight on battle, but he was sneaky and set 2 cannons off to the side that are still sitting there. And they still have trenches there. And it was the bloodiest battle happened at Cheatham Hill, and then there's Kennesaw. And then when the Union pushed through, they went into Marietta, and you had the big locomotive race that happened. That happened right there.
Wow.
And so there's some good spots around here. I mean,
Okay. After
so y'all, if y'all
after-
come, let me know. I'll take you on a tour.
All right.
All right.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
Thank you again. Have a lovely night. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much. It means so much to me.
Appreciate it. Thanks.